Life is full of imperfection. Nothing in this world is perfect. Stars with conflicts, roses with thorns, people with deformities, people with struggles and mistakes, and even families that are broken.
Everyone is made to carry his own burden, yet we are made to overcome all of these, to be a stronger person, faces every challenge along the way and never escape the sad reality of life.
Every battles in life determine who we really are and who we will be in the future. With that, we have the right to choose in the time of troubles and which part we're going to take.
We can never go back in time to change our mistakes, but we can always create right decisions and stand for it for the rest of our lives and be a better person and be an inspiration to everyone.
They say that family is the basic foundation in creating the best individuals.
Your personality mirrors the kind of family you have and the values that each member displays.
Generate are those who have the support from the whole family, and burden are those who are in the opposite situation.
Broken families damage the lives of innocent children. But despite of this, some stories are truly remarkable because they inspire and continue to give hope to everybody, like Larsen's story.
When I came to Canada, I want to start new. I want to start fresh, and I want to leave every single problem back home, and I don't want to deal with everything. That's why before I didn't bring any pictures. I didn't really bring any photographs and whatnot. I didn't miss home before because I just thought that I had so much. Really, I just went, what I would just want to stay here. It's more like an escapism in a way. I escape those problems and want to start something new. And I'm now 22 years old, and I came to Canada since 2006. My dad's name is Lou, L-O-U, and my mom's name is Nelia. I was raised in a middle-class family. A simple house, and it was the only child. Although my mom had a first family and before me, and they were always there all the time, and they raised me up with good virtues and good attitudes. And, I grew up in a place where there was a positive environment, but my parents separated when I think it was 10 or 11 years old. It was pretty hard. I mean, in those times, that kind of age, you don't really understand too much of what's happening. I never really understood why that had to happen. I didn't even know what separation means. I thought that I had a good family, but then I realized later on in life that I have a very complicated family, I would say. The main reason is that my dad womanized, so he had another woman in his life, and I was actually seeing this woman every single month, maybe, or in a year. And my mom's away, she's there and whatnot. And I thought she was just a friend or whatnot, but I never realized that I was really innocent at that time. It came to a point that she got pregnant. That was really hard because I was filled with so much hatred for my dad. And I figured that he destroyed our family. I blamed him for what's happening. And by that time, when I was a kid, I had asthma and I also had anemia. And every year I would be in the hospital. The longest I've been in the hospital maybe was about 3 months. Stayed there for 3 months. And I was very sickly when I was a child. I can't really I don't really play too much outside. I don't really run too much or what other kids would do. I'll just stay home because I can't bear it. I try to stay away as much as possible, not to be like my dad. I had so much hatred in my heart before that I actually want to disown him as my father. I don't want to take him as my dad, but if you hate something, or for example, I hated the way my dad was before, but the more I hated that way, I became more like that. You know, even though my dad was humanizing, I know that it's wrong. I know the things he did was wrong, but later on I found out when I was becoming a teenager, I was doing the same thing. I was going from one relationship to another, and to another, to another, to another. And my goal was to forgive my dad, because that was one thing I can't really do. I never thought I would do it. But then having that unforgiveness in your heart was more of it's more like a burden more than to carry. It would actually unforgiveness is kind of more like a disease in a way, that you would be carrying it around, and it's going to take a hold of you. And that's one of the things that I learned how to forgive, and it went on after, and the church supported me in a way that I would be much more a better man. My church friends are I would say also part of my family too. I would say they're like my second family, and they've been with me. And a lot of the people who are in the church as well have also undergone such experiences in life and whatnot. And that's the amazing thing about it, of how we can share testimonies with each other.
Well, yeah, I'm not the kind of person who gives a lot of advice, but I would always tell him that if ever he needs someone to talk to, just to listen. I was the ear that he kind of talked to, among others. I'm not saying that I'm the only one, but yeah, I guess in that way, I was able to help him. Because when you're having a problem, you keep it all inside. It starts to eat at you, right? But then when you have someone to talk to, the weight of it gets lighter. Right?
Yeah, well, Larsen is a very strong person, and instead of us encouraging him, he always encourages us. I think the only way that I helped him is just to pray for him, and also just to be there for him. Like every time he needed us, we were always there, and we always find a way for us to be available for him. And I think it's a good thing to know, like, that someone is gonna be there for you when experiencing problems. So basically, yeah, I'm one of the people who were there, like always available when he needed us.
And in terms of school, I was doing well, but then I had in Canada, I have to repeat for another few years in my high school because of the different standards I have here.
So what do I remember about Larsen? I remember that I was first starting to teach, and I was teaching the 11U program for the very first time, and he was right there in the front row, and he was a fantastic student. What I remember about him is that he had tremendous work ethic. Everything I gave back, he sat with me, make sure he understood what the feedback was. He was very thorough, and he was definitely an achiever. If he didn't get an A, if he didn't get a 90, he was beside me after school, making sure he knows what he did wrong. Shy individual, but at the same time, when he spoke, he was confident, he knew what he was saying, he knew that he had the intellect to go really far in life, but he also knew that he was still in the learning process. So he was a wonderful student to have as my first year teaching, and I will forever remember him for his hard work and his just being a wonderful person. So that's what I have to say about Larsen.
Life is full of challenges and hardship, but never give up. Face them with strength and courage.
Never look back, just to blame others for their mistake. But remember the past that will get you in the future and be able to live in the present.
Oh, we have a positive outlook in life. Problems are there not to let us down, but to teach us lessons.
Lessons that will serve as our guide in making right decisions and will keep others motivated
Probably, one of my favorite verses in the Bible is that I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And one of that's in Philippians 4:13. And one of my most favorite mottos is actually Carpe Diem, which means seize the day, still. But the good thing about it is what I understand now is that every mistake that we have done in the past, you come to learn from it. And the past shouldn't be the one who's going to be determining your future. And that's really one of the main themes that I have in life, especially.